Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. This is News Done Differently on the American Doofus channel. And we have breaking news regarding Casey White. Casey White is the 6'9", 300+ pound escaped convict that is charged with capital murder. And he escaped from Alabama along with the aid of a custodial guard, Vicky White, and no relation. Investigators have said that there's the real possibility that White was spotted by surveillance cameras as he was basically abandoning a second vehicle. The pair made their escape in a 2006 or 2007 rather, Ford Edge, and it was abandoned in Tennessee. Evansville, Indiana is about 180 to 200 miles from the location where that vehicle was abandoned. We've learned that Vicky White used an alias, used an alternate ID to buy that Ford Edge. She has at least two separate identities other than her real Vicky White identity that they know of, and possibly more. So this is getting more complex as it moves along. Again, they abandoned a 2006 Ford F-150 at a self-serve car wash in Evansville, Indiana. And what we're going to do is a little geography here. Take a look at the map, give you an idea where Evansville, Indiana is at. If you are in Indiana, if you're in Illinois, if you're in Kentucky, if you're in Michigan, there's a theory that the couple is trying to make their way to Canada, where they will have freedom. Here's Evansville, Indiana, right here. It's on the Ohio River, Henderson, Kentucky, right across the river from Evansville, and then just a short drive to the Illinois line. So we'll zoom out here, and you can see where the red dot is, Tennessee down here. They started in Alabama, so it looks like they may be proceeding north. Obviously, they are proceeding north. If they continue, Illinois, Wisconsin, Illinois, possibly Michigan, to try to get across the border. But if you're in any of these areas, just be on the lookout. The guy's 6'9". He was last seen wearing a purplish shirt, a button-up shirt, short sleeve purplish button-up shirt with a black hat and sunglasses. And Vicky White was not spotted. We don't know if they're still traveling together. We don't know if they have split apart. We don't know if he might have done something to her as he has to other women in the past. So as always, keep your guard up, keep your head on a swivel, and do not approach. But if you see something, say something, call law enforcement and let them know. Again, this is Casey White, and this is breaking news. It's probably going to be up on your mainstream media news within an hour, if it's not already there. And let's go on to a real brief report on what else has been happening. Of course, we covered the Russian Victory Day parade last night. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a minute. We're going to open up here with our reminder that there is indeed fascism in America, and it comes in all shapes and sizes, and it's not an isolated incident. Okay, just our daily reminder of that. Some really odd stuff, as always, and bizarro news. This was China last night. The sky went blood red, literally, and they are not sure what the cause of the phenomenon was. Here's a video to show you just what we're talking about.
这什么天气呀！哇靠，这个天怎么啦？
不是，他红的退天了。咋回事？他叫啥了？他叫什么？
这是什么天气呀！哇靠，这个天怎么啦？
不是，他红的退天了。
So we'll keep an eye on that, and hopefully we'll be able to let you know at some point in the next couple of days, at least what the official explanation is for what that's all about. This is, I put this on there just because I just found it so incredibly odd. The picture, I don't know, make of it what you will. This was actually in the Russian Victory Day parade today. It has goods that have been stolen from Ukraine and taken back to Russia. It's celebrating the looting. Washing machine on the front. And this isn't the only vehicle. A washing machine, a fan, 2 older television sets, a rug. Of course, the Z, which is the Russian version of the swastika. Let me open this up. Those of you that watch the show all the time know that if I don't open it up, then we can't get the
Первой гвардейской краснознаменной танковой армии. Возглавляет танковую колонну майор Олег Мамонтов. В составе колонны современное поколение российской бронетехники. По Красной площади проходит парадный расчет.
Just a couple of examples of Russia showing off their stolen property. During the victory parade, we were concerned what Putin might announce in his speech. He did not announce a buildup. He did not announce a call up at all. No mobilization was announced. However, the paperwork has gone out for. He did not declare victory. Basically, what he did was say that Russia's fighting NATO and the United States and not Ukraine. That conspiracy theory that they have been utilizing. He is not well. I'm going to do a little bit deeper dive into this in an upcoming episode, but he sat through the parade with a blanket on his lap. He was interrupted twice coughing during the speech. He was coughing, visibly not well, and his inner circle is saying that he's going insane. So at any time, anything can happen. And at the moment, we're blessed to be enjoying a beautiful day outside here in Indiana, even though there may be a capital murderer nearby. Don't ever panic, always prepare, okay? If you find yourself in a situation where your gut tells you, hey, this ain't right, extract yourself from that situation. Trust your gut. The reason I say anything can happen at any time is because of stuff like this. We talked about during the Trump rally the other night, they showed a bit of this new movie. Okay. It's a movie. It's not a documentary. It's not the truth. However, as with everything associated with Trump, they're going to try to sell it as the truth. All right. It's called 2,000 Mules. the guy responsible for writing and directing it is a felon. And the only reason he's not in prison is because he was pardoned by guess who? And that's a fact. I'm not making that up. The guy is a felon. He was in prison for election fraud. That's who wrote and directed this movie. That's what they're basing this all off of. This is a fan the flame. This is a get the base to rise up kind of thing. And this clown from Newsmax is doing the same thing here in America that we watch time and time again in Russia, trying to get the people to rise up. Let's listen in.
So I got to see this movie, 2,000 Mules, down here in Palm Beach, and I left disgusted that something like this can happen in America. Smoking gun proof is what Dinesh D'Souza and True the Vote found of election fraud. So here is my message to any law enforcement officer.
Just Google Dinesh D'Souza Trump pardon. That's all you got to.
Federal agent that is working in.
Okay, I'm going to start this over because if you can't hear what he's saying or understand because of the ocean or something in the background noise, the words are here in yellow in closed captioning. And
so I got to see this movie, 2,000 Mules, down here in.
Let me expand it so everybody can see. Here we go.
Palm Beach, and I left disgusted that something like this can happen in America. Smoking gun proof is what Dinesh D'Souza and True the Vote found of election fraud. So here is my message to any law enforcement officer, federal agent that is working in Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Pennsylvania. You watch this movie and then you ask yourselves, how do we not investigate? All it takes is one law enforcement officer or federal agent to say, I'm going to look into this and prove what Dinesh D'Souza proved privately. You can do it. It has to be done for the sake of America, for the future of America. So if you're a law enforcement officer watching this, I'm begging you, take it upon yourself. Go rogue. Heck, the Democrats have rogue FBI agents. How about Republicans have a rogue FBI agent that actually enforces the law? So
this is dangerous. He is he's basically saying go rogue. Calling on Republican Attorney General associations, the constitutional sheriffs, one of the militia that is not currently involved, both keepers, and Proud Boys are deep up to their neck in what happened, the attempted overthrow of the government. This guy from Newsmax, it's not legitimate TV. Okay, it's like what I'm doing here. All right. Only I'm not telling anybody to overthrow the government. He's calling on law enforcement, attorney generals, anybody and everybody, rise up and do not allow this injustice. It's almost 2 years that this has been going on over and over and over again. Eventually, they're going to rise up. Be prepared for it. Don't panic. Be prepared, as always. Our next story. This is the ambassador to Russia, or ambassador. This is the Russian ambassador to Poland. That's paint, all right? The Russian ambassador to Poland was pelted with paint as he tried to get to a Soviet war memorial in Poland during Victory Day earlier this morning. Another brief clip of what happened in one of the city's Victory Day parades in Russia. And I want you to look at this really close. First of all, you got the Z patches, which is, you know, a nod to Nazi fascism. But just look at the age of those marching in their brown shirts, also a nod. Brown caps, also a nod to the special forces, the special services, the SS, the brown shirts that started the whole overthrow of the German government. The day of Kristallnacht, the breaking of the crystal, the day that their version of Congress was basically overthrown, and it was blamed on the Jews. False flag operation blamed on the Jews, which started the eventual Holocaust. Look at these guys.
Честью выполняет свой долг в ходе специальной военной операции.
Now, that should give us a clue. Russia's desperate. Russia's getting their butt handed to them in Ukraine, despite what Tucker Toast Your Testicles Carlson has to say. The real truth is Russia has lost over 12,000 soldiers in Ukraine in just under 2 months. Just something to think about. This, unfortunately, is something we've got to think about. First of all, let me buzz down here for just a second here. And U.S. Army Airborne Reconnaissance and Electronic Warfare System, the Ares aircraft out of Candia, running up and down China's east coast. Here's Candia. And basically, this occurred after China had conducted military exercises very near to the island of Taiwan. So, why does that matter? Well, here in this overlay, you can see basically the area of Taiwan, or I'm sorry, the area that China considers sovereign territory. And basically, our airplane hugged their international line and crossed it up here just to let them know that we can. So saber rattling going on between the United States and China, even the nuclear word being rattled around. If you watch this program, you know, in the very beginning of the thing in Ukraine, I said, look, here's what's eventually going to happen. Russia and China are going to open up a two-front war to get the United States fighting in two separate fronts. United States is not actively participating in Ukraine. We're providing weapons, we're providing intelligence and information and support. But that could all change in the blink of an eye. We could be knee deep in Ukraine and in Taiwan and find ourselves being bled dry, just like I said that they were going to attempt to do. Hope it's not the case. So far, Ukraine is shouldering the burden of the free world at the moment and keeping Russia from retaking the Soviet Union. Here's a look. This is considered China territory, and this is actual China territory. And there's that rather provocative flight path just along the border of China. Our next story, actually, it's just a photo. Talked about this guy last night and showed a showed a video of him. It didn't show him really well. This is Patron. This is the bomb sniffing dog that has actually uncovered hundreds of rounds of unexploded ammunition as well as landmines. Saved a whole bunch of lives and got awarded with the Presidential Medal yesterday from Ukraine. Here's just something to think about as we are embroiled, and it's going to get worse. Okay, the tension, the confrontations between women's rights and those that want to control women. This is just something to keep in mind. Personally, choosing not to have an abortion or use birth control is a religious freedom. You can say, I'm not going to use birth control. I'm not going to have an abortion because my religion tells me not to do that. I totally support that. And in most cases, I agree with that. Making that choice for someone else on the basis of one's own religious principles is religious oppression. And that's from the Presbyterian Church, their 223rd General Assembly in 2018. There were those that said, okay, everybody in the Azovstal plant, they're all Nazis, they're all, you can't be for them, blah, 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 whatever. Before and after pictures of just 4 of the people that are still fighting there now. Happy smiles now. Horrific memories. And that's what so many people want to do to our country. They want us fighting each other. And it's going to come. Despite what I've been saying for 2 years, it's going to come. I told you they wanted to fight the black people. I told you they wanted to get rid of the gays. I told you now that they're coming after anybody that does not look or think like them. And now they're coming after the women or women that don't think just like them. I don't know. You call it whatever you want to call it. Summer's going to be hot. This summer is going to be hot. And again, the faces before and the faces after. Just a reminder that it's about humanity. It's not just you're not killing something in a video game. You're not killing something that is dangerous. Wanting to kill because people don't look like you or think like you. That's why some people are wanting to kill. And that is the absolute anti of freedom. Our next story. Again, 2 of the Chinese aircraft that were involved in, they call them real combat drills above the waters east and southwest of Taiwan. And I've already shown you our response to that. I mentioned about the anti-abortion legal office in Wisconsin that was firebombed. There's the Molotov cocktail did not go off. It looks like somebody set the fire from the inside, and there is question whether far right people did this in order to blame. You know, that's the world we live in. Information is not, the truth doesn't really matter to a whole lot of people. I know it matters to you watching this, and that's why you watch this. And I respect the heck out of you, and I appreciate all of you. It's written in cursive, and it's written in a straight line, very nicely done. It's not rushed. It's not, this was planned, okay? Whoever did it, this was planned. This isn't something that somebody just decided to do. This was actually sent to me. This was on a dating site. 55-year-old Christian male. Okay, I consider myself a Christian. Conservative and not a liberal snowflake. Well, in your mind, I'm probably a liberal snowflake, but that's okay because snowflakes are unique and they're beautiful. And when a bunch of them get together, they mess a bunch of stuff up. I'm an in-charge type of guy who in my relationships makes the final decision on everything important and settles any and all arguments. I've always had a partner, and we've discussed things. Anyway, I'm a firm believer that most problems in modern marriages are because there's no clear hierarchy, which can lead to a power struggle, unnecessary arguments, and oftentimes divorce. Just showing you this just so you know that not everybody thinks the same. And yet we all want to try to somehow embrace monolithic thinking, that all women are against abortion, that all men want to be evil, mean to women, that all this, all that, all, you know, and people, the worst is when somebody goes, America doesn't want this. Well, no, you know, you don't want that, but yet you are so deeply self-centered that you believe you speak for America. And we got a bunch of those. We got a bunch of those. This.
Americans are going to come here.
I can tell you.
Stand up for.
Let me make sure I do this right here so we don't have to. We don't have to redo it. This is the night before January 6th. This is January 5th.
How do you feel right now at this moment?
I feel hopeful. 1 million Americans are going to come here.
I can tell you.
Stand up for truth.
And there is no question whatsoever that he won a majority of the legal votes cast. Listen, I'm the biggest black road.
Everyone's gonna look back, and I hope they're damn proud of what they did during this very pivotal moment.
This moment is going to be about how the American people rose up and came together.
Well, you know, I think they're gonna say this is a moment where peace.
Remember what I was saying? He's saying this moment's about how the American people rose up and came together. No, it's about how the far right came together. There's a huge difference. But you wouldn't know it listening to this.
For first principles, you know, people really stood up to those ideals of freedom of speech. It's an incredible moment being here in Washington, D.C. Here, my wife supporting God-loving patriots out here who don't want to see their country stolen from them. So that's why I'm out here, why we're out here, and it's something I wouldn't miss for the world.
I think that history is going to say that this is like the second revolution. We don't stand up for our rights if we put up with this rigged election. I think it's the end of our country if we don't.
But people that often go unseen and unknown.
So since we out back, since I hang out back, who ain't never going out?
1776, you know what it is, man. We out here.
You know, I feel good. I think we're going to see some good things this weekend. I'm excited that the president is going to be here, and I think that we're going to see our Congress stand up.
The history books are going to show this president very favorable, typically in the present.
Support our Constitution, our grandfathers and our forefathers before us that died, that lost their limbs and their lives.
You remember the moment when people fought for Uncle Sam and fought for the Republic and fought for the Constitution?
This movement goes on and on and on. MAGA doesn't end with Trump. MAGA is, I think, we're a family, we're a patriotic movement in this country, we're a revolution.
And I see the crosses of the men. This is about the presidency, this is about our Constitution, this is about our country. If we'll repent of our sins and follow his name, he'll forgive you. I said the church of the Lord Jesus Christ started America. I said the church. God will fulfill his destiny and will reward the righteous.
That's Alex Jones. Of course, we've got him being demon possessed on tape. I didn't play that specifically for anybody that's involved in the anonymous computer defense organization that are currently about to target people that want to do away with a woman's right to choose. Okay, I played that for all of us so we would have an idea even further how deep this thing actually went. January 6th was not some spontaneous thing that just happened. No matter what all these investigations prove, no matter what charges, there aren't going to be a lot of charges against people in power, sadly. But that's the way it works. Republican candidate for Michigan Governor Ryan Kelly just came out against democracy. Quote, socialism, it starts with democracy. That's the ticket for the left. They want to push this idea of democracy, which turns into socialism, which turns into communism in every instance. They're coming after democracy. This is why people laugh at me when I say, if we do get a vote in November, because I don't think we will. I don't think there will be an election in November. They're going to rise up and steal the government between now and then. It's just a matter of, is it allowed to happen? This was the
People die! You don't care if people die!
Now, just so you know, 4 of the 7 Supreme Court justices lied under oath to Congress in regard to this issue. Republicans are saying, of course they lied. Of course, they wouldn't have got elected if they hadn't lied. Like it's okay. Just something to think about. China carries out drills near Taiwan. We talked about that. Durham. Okay, this is a name. I had planned on doing the QAnon thing before, but Durham is a key in the QAnon movement, and he's trying. They think he is the Attorney General of the United States, and that Durham is he's he's showing everybody the truth, the truth. This suit was thrown out, and it was brought by Donald Trump. Okay, the suit's been thrown out. It's still about Hillary Clinton. He's suing over an election he won, supposedly. There's something wrong. If you haven't seen it yet, keep watching. You will. Donald Trump, his former defense secretary, was interviewed on 60 Minutes, and they were asked, Trump was asked for comment on the episode of pre-screening that he was sent by CBS. And he says, The question is, during a June 1, 2020 meeting, Mike Esper says Trump wanted to shoot some of the protesters in the legs. This is a complete lie, and 10 witnesses can back it up. Mark Esper was weak and totally ineffective, and because of it, I had to run the military. I took out ISIS. I took out Qasem Soleimani, al-Baghdadi. I rebuilt the military with $205 trillion. I created Space Force and so much more. Mark Esper was a stiff who was desperate not to lose his job. He would do anything I wanted. That's why I called him Yesper. He was a lightweight and figurehead, and I realized it very early on. For those that think Trump's a genius, why did he hire so many people that were losers, in his words? Oh, yeah, but what about? No, see, fundamental questions the Trump people can never answer. It's got to, Hunter Biden's laptop. It's if it wasn't so scary, it would be incredibly funny. President Trump wanted to send 10,000 active duty troops into Washington, D.C. after St. John's Church was set on fire. Wrong. I wanted to send at least 10,000 troops January 6th because I knew many people were coming to Washington to protest the corrupt presidential election. Nancy Pelosi and the D.C. mayor turned me down. 60 Minutes should ask them why they chose to not have proper security. That's a flat lie. We know he did not even attempt to call the National Guard. When Pelosi, when everybody was trying to get a hold of him saying, call your people off. Like, no, there's nothing to worry about. Later in a meeting at the White House, President Trump contended that his Secretary of Defense had taken away his authority on the Insurrection Act and didn't believe he could invoke it anymore. This is fake news. The fact is, I didn't need to invoke the act and never did. He wanted to do it during the George Floyd time. Okay, not during January 6th. He wanted to do it during the George Floyd, the Breonna Taylor, the Ahmaud Arbery, the Elijah McClain. The list goes on and on and on. Okay, that's when Esper said, no, you can't do that. People are using their First Amendment rights to gather and protest. You can't just decide to bring the Army in. He wanted to bring the 82nd Airborne in. Okay, that'll come out here soon. And you get the idea. Yeah, I'm not wasting any more time or breath. I've got two more stories that I've got to get to. And here we go. We'll go from the bottom up. I mentioned this Friday night. The men holding rosaries, Bibles, and wearing America First hats, bravely defending their churches against the abortionist hordes. They're heroes, every single one of them. They're heroes. He's got the Fire Department of New York sweatshirt on with a patch. He's got the America First hat. You see the old white guy in the back. You see these guys? Okay. They're not members of the church. They're not church members defending their church. Here's who they really are. Come on. Let me go this way.
Take the people of this side.
Listen close.
Hey, not the church, not the state, the people of this side of race.
I am the people. I am the people. You are here. I am the people. The people have decided. The court has decided. You lose.
Remember what I said? I am America. America doesn't want, just because you don't, but this is how they think. I am the people. And listen to the rest.
You have no choice. Not your body, not your choice. Your body is mine, and you're happy to obey me.
Not the church, not the state, the people must decide.
I'm the people. I'm the people. I am the people. The people have decided, the court has decided. You lose. You have no choice. Not your body, not your choice. Your body is mine, and you're happy to obey me.
You got to listen real close to the end of it. He says, you're going to have my baby. It's where we're at. And it's going to get worse. That's where we're at. And it's going to get worse. I'll pop this up here for just a second because I'm really curious. Okay, this guy wearing his red hat, his red shirt, he's got his microphone, and he's warning sinners. All right, BLM, Antifa, Hindis, Susis, thieves, Muslims, cowards, Satanists, Catholics, murderers, Democrats, sports nuts, homosexuals, transgenders, whoremongers, gangsta rappers, Jehovah's Witnesses, country music lovers, abortion supporters, rock and roll freaks, fake Christians, porn watchers, homo huggers, pot smokers, adulterers, Buddhists, feminists, atheists, prideful, leftist, racists, whores, drunks, and liars. I'm guessing this guy smokes cigarettes because that's the only thing he left out. Here's a little something to think about. This was for Mike Pence, by the way, a Republican, the vice president of the United States, the second highest office in the land. This is who this was erected for, the gallows. Hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence. Anyone who can make you believe absurdities, like John F. Kennedy Jr. is going to be Trump's next vice president, like Trump is still the president, like Trump controls the military still. Absurdities. If they can make you believe absurdities, they can make you commit atrocities. Just something to think about, as always. My dad fought in World War II. My dad was in the Army in World War II. He didn't go overseas. He didn't actually fight. But his friends did. My mom's friends did. A lot of them died. Fought fascists. They didn't vote for them. I've been talking about this stuff since 2015. And I lost a bunch of friends over it. Oh. Let's listen just for a second.
Someone should tell him, please, so he can get back to work. Listen.
Okay, before we start, physically attractive woman, that's how she got elected, has absolute no education. She has an 8th grade education. She flunked her GED 3 separate times. Okay. Now, I admire people that take their GED and try to aspire to something. They generally aren't qualified to be a congressional person and decide laws of the land for everybody else. And that's always kind of been the standard, if you will. Doesn't mean that they're necessarily not, but that's always been kind of the standard. If this were an exceptionally intelligent person, but people believed the atrocities. People believed the absurdities that she should be a congressperson. Let's listen.
Mayor Pete was on a 2-month maternity paternity, whatever the heck you want to call it, leave. The guy was gone, okay? The guy was not working. Because why? He was trying to figure out how to chest feed. Maybe someone should tell him, please, so he can get back to work. Listen, I'm a mother of 4. I delivered one of my children in the front seat of my truck. Because as a mom of 4, we got things to do.
Some of the things they do are take Christmas cards with all of their kids with AK-47s. That's grooming. Just saying, she's grooming her kids to be serial killers. That's an absurd statement. But is it wrong? Only time will tell. Finally.
That was bullshit.
Finally. I've shown a lot of pictures of women in combat in Ukraine. And you wonder, you know, what would make a woman go off the edge, decide that I'm going to start killing?
Stop saying the Democrats are just going to lose. You know, the entire world said the Ukrainians were just going to lose, that it was inevitable, that Russia was just too strong, too big, too powerful. Well, that was bullshit. The Ukrainians cared more. They fought back. They were told to surrender and they said, hey, Russian warship, go fuck yourselves. And that is what those of us who love democracy have to say. That's the energy we have to embrace. Hey, Republican Party, go fuck yourselves. You think you can cheat and steal and lie and win? You think you could just take our rights from us and our vote from us and our freedoms from us and we're just going to let you? I don't think so. Yeah, I wish the Democrats could get their shit together and put together a messaging platform that makes sense, that speaks to the moment. But if they can't, we're just going to have to do it without them. Just like the brave Ukrainian citizens fought back from their own windows and made their own Molotov cocktails and acted like the fucking ballers that they were, Democratic voters are not just going to give up because everyone says we're going to lose. I'm fighting for democracy from my own goddamn kitchen, and I know I'm not alone. This country is filled with patriots who won't just give up democracy without a fight. We are not going to lose. We can't lose. We have to come out in droves and convince our people to come out in force, to vote against this sad, pathetic, backwards, racist, homophobic, xenophobic, misogynistic bullshit party banning books and gays and women's rights. This anti-democratic party without values or morals who wants to take your Social Security and your Medicare and to fund our public schools and raise taxes on the poor. How can people even consider voting for them? What are they even offering? We have to decimate this party, and then we have to start the hard work of building up a country we can all be proud of, one that works for everyone, which is exactly what they are fighting so hard to avoid. But this change only happens with the Democrats, the one party who still believes in democracy. I think the Republican Party has bitten off more than they can chew. Just like the Russians, I think they've overplayed their hand. They think they're untouchable. But even with all their cheating and lying and gerrymandering, we have to show them that they will never defeat the idea of a free America with liberty and justice for all. Hey, Russian warship, go fuck yourselves.
Now, I understand the...
Stop saying the Democrats are just going to lose.
They are.
You know,
I understand the righteous indignation. I understand the passion. I understand the emotions. I'm going to tell you the truth. I've already said I don't think there will be an election. If there is an election, it will be under intimidation. There will be people watching your vote. Probably armed people. It won't be secret ballot. If there is even an election, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're not going to like what I'm about to say, but here's the truth. All right. On Wednesday, the House of Representatives has already passed a bill saying that a woman's right to choose should be federal law. All right. That bill comes up before the Senate on Wednesday. They will be voting on Wednesday whether that bill becomes the law. If they vote to pass it, it goes to Biden. Biden signs it. Then a woman's right to choose is federal law. That's not going to happen. In order to pass out of the Senate, they have to defeat something called the filibuster. All the filibuster is a rule that says you must have 60 votes in order for something to pass. They're not going to have 60 votes on Wednesday. It will be 48 people voting aye. It will be 52 people voting no. And the motion will not carry. Democrats will say, we did all we could. We really tried. We did all we could. And they'll say, donate to us. And because we got to elect more so that we can make sure and overturn this. And it's not going to work. People will donate. People will support. People will say they're going to go out and vote. They're going to change it. It's not how changing it works. All right. Now, what the Democrats will do after they say, oh, we did all we could, they will work for bipartisan legislation to, if not end, incredibly restrict protesting and the First Amendment right. Washington, D.C. is a subgroup. Doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. If you're part of the DC elite, you are the somebodies. Everybody else is the nobodies. All right. They are going to want to protect each other. And that means they're going to crack down on protests. They'll get that passed really quick. That's what's going to happen. Let me repeat it. Wednesday, there will be a vote by the Senate. The vote will be 48 aye, 52 nay. Republicans will throw their hands up and say, we did everything we could. We have to have a bigger majority. You have to give us more money so that we can get a bigger majority. That will take probably 3 to 4 election cycles, somewhere between 10 and 20 years to get to that place. They know that. You don't. They know that. We think, oh, boy, in November we'll elect a whole bunch of Democrats and they'll change things. First of all, you won't elect a bunch of Democrats. If there is an election, you won't. You're not going to elect a bunch of Democrats. I don't think there's going to be an election. Now they're going to throw their hands up, and mark my words on this. They're going to throw their hands up and say, there's nothing we can do, but we've got to protect everybody from protesters. Okay, they're not protecting everybody, they're protecting themselves. We'll see later on in the week if I'm wrong or right. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong about a whole bunch of stuff I've said, but it doesn't always work that way. We'll be back soon. This has been News Done Differently.